Today, we delve into the somber stories of actors who met their fate on the very sets that brought joy to millions. Join us on this poignant journey as we explore the highs and lows of the entertainment industry, where the pursuit of art sometimes comes at an unimaginable cost. This is Actors Who Died on Set While Filming. The tragic death of Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, occurred during the filming of The Crow due to a firearms accident, highlighting the risks involved in on-set stunts. With his career on an upswing, Lee signed on to play Eric Draven in The Crow based on the comic books of James O'Barr. In the film, his character is a murdered rock musician who comes back from the dead to take his revenge on the gang that killed him and his girlfriend. Unfortunately, there were a series of mishaps during the course of shooting, starting with the first day when a crew member was almost electrocuted. Toward the end of production, Lee was performing his death scene for the film when he was struck by a bullet that had been lodged in the prop gun that was only supposed to be a blank. The bullet pierced through his abdomen and ended up near his spine. Lee was taken to the hospital where surgeons tried to stop the bleeding and repair the damage, but they were unsuccessful. He died on March 31st, 1993, from his injuries. Before this tragic accident, Lee had planned to marry his fiancée on April 17th in Mexico. Instead, he was buried next to his father in Seattle on April 3, 1993. For months, stories swirled around about whether or not the shooting was intentional. There was an investigation, which determined that his death was an accident, the result of the prop gun not being properly checked between uses. The Crow was released the next year after additional scenes were shot to complete the film. Audiences turned out in droves to see Lee's haunting final film.
It's fun. It's easy. You gonna learn all about it. I'd like you to meet two buddies of mine. We never miss. Try hard. Try again.
Vic Morrow's untimely death during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie in a helicopter accident, raises questions about safety measures on film sets, especially concerning stunts involving aircraft. Morrow played a bigot who skipped through time getting a taste of his own medicine. In the scene that would prove fatal, he was earning some Sorling-style redemption by trying to rescue a pair of Vietnamese children from an American air raid. Mainly, the setup was an excuse for director John Landis to capture immense explosions on film. At the controls of the helicopter that was bombing the village was Dorsey Wingo, an actual Vietnam veteran. Wingo was new to the movie business, so even when the rehearsal explosions that buffeted his chopper scared him witless, he swallowed his concerns, especially as Landis, who had a reputation for being dictatorial on set, screamed expletives into the California night. The shooting was taking place at a disused motorcycle track at Indian Dunes Park, a few miles north of Los Angeles. Civil suits against the studio and Landis were settled, but Warner Brothers, Landis, Wingo, and three others couldn't avoid criminal charges of involuntary manslaughter stemming from the tragedy. The defendants freely admitted that the production broke child labor laws, but they maintained that the crash was an unavoidable accident.
The movie location at a motorcycle recreation park 40 miles north of Los Angeles. FAA and National Transportation Safety Board inspectors say the chopper, a Bell UH-1B model, lost its tail rotor assembly, and as the aircraft dipped to the ground, its large rotor blades struck actor Vic Morrow and the two children he was carrying in his arms. They were killed instantly. In the scene being filmed for a Steven Spielberg-produced movie, Twilight Zone, the 51-year-old Morrow was running from a burned-out Vietnamese village, and it's believed explosive charges designed to simulate machine gun fire may have blasted hunks of dirt and rocks into the rotor assembly. Last night's work was to have completed shooting on the first part of the Warner Brothers film, which consists of 4 separate stories.
The beloved comedian John Candy passed away while filming Wagons East, emphasizing the toll of demanding schedules on actors' health. The larger-than-life comedic star John Candy dies suddenly of a heart attack on March 4, 1994, at the age of 43. At the time of his death, he was living near Durango, Mexico, while filming Wagons East, a Western comedy co-starring the comedian Richard Lewis. At the time of his death, Candy had just completed his directorial debut, the Fox television movie comedy Hostage for a Day. He had performed 2/3 of his scenes in Wagons East, which was finished after the filmmaker's insurance company paid a reported $15 million settlement. Another recently wrapped movie, Canadian Bacon, was released in 1995.
Yes.
It's Harry Crumb.
Oh, send him in. Crumb? You mean...
That's right, the Harry Crumb. I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Heath Ledger died during the filming of The Dark Knight brought attention to the intense emotional toll method acting can have on an actor's well-being. Heath accidentally overdosed on prescription drugs on January 22, 2008, during the editing of The Dark Knight and midway through shooting his final movie. He was found dead in bed in his Manhattan flat by his housekeeper in Masseuse at around 3 p.m. He'd taken 6 types of drug, and the toxicology report states, "We have concluded that the manner of death is accident, resulting from the abuse of prescribed medications." Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell stepped into complete filming for Heath's character Tony in Terry Gilliam's film. Claims that playing the Joker had pushed Heath to overdose were also trashed by director Gilliam, who said at the time, "Heath was so solid. His feet were on the ground, and he was the least neurotic person I've ever met." It's more likely Heath's insomnia led him to self-medicate, a theory that has been backed up by Michelle Williams and Christopher Plummer. Often being compared to James Dean, Heath was known for taking roles that were on the edge and that challenged him, as nothing else piqued his interest.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck. See?
See, first of all, Joey is not half the man you are. Secondly, don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want.
Paul Walker's fatal car crash during the production of Furious 7 highlights the dangers involved in high-speed action sequences and the need for strict safety protocols. The star of the Fast and Furious film franchise died after the car he was in crashed at a speed of more than 100 miles per hour and burst into flames, according to the coroner's report. Walker, 40, was found dead along with his friend and financial advisor Roger Rodas on November 30th in a burned-out Porsche Carrera GT in Los Angeles. The coroner's report said Walker died of the combined effects of traumatic and thermal injuries, while Rodas, the driver, died of multiple traumatic injuries. No drugs or alcohol were detected in either man. Both deaths were ruled accidents. Walker was in the process of filming Fast and Furious 7 at the time, and production was halted a few days later. Universal Pictures said that the release of the 7th installment in the highly lucrative franchise would be pushed back by 9 months to April 2015. Walker will appear in the film. River Phoenix's tragic overdose during the filming of Dark Blood underscores the personal struggles that actors may face and the importance of mental health awareness. In the early 90s, River Phoenix was one of the most in-demand young actors in Hollywood. Phoenix began acting as a child before landing his breakout role in the 1986 film Stand By Me. 2 years later, at 18, he earned Golden Globe and Academy Award nominations for his role in Running on Empty. Phoenix continued to make his mark on Hollywood, appearing in films like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, 1989, My Own Private Idaho, 1991, and Sneakers, 1992, and by October 1993, he had starring roles in Dark Blood and Interview with the Vampire. But the promising young actor's career was cut tragically short on October 31st, 1993, when Phoenix collapsed outside of the popular West Hollywood nightclub The Viper Room and died from a drug overdose. The official toxicology report showed that the Stand By Me actor had lethal levels of cocaine and morphine in his system. A spokesperson for the coroner's office said the morphine was believed to be heroin originally, noting that as the body metabolizes heroin, it shows up on drug tests as morphine. Additionally, the tests revealed lower levels of Valium, marijuana, and ephedrine present at the time of his death. But Phoenix himself knew that addiction did not discriminate. In 1990, after his Stand By Me co-star Corey Feldman was arrested for heroin possession, Phoenix said, "It makes you realize drugs aren't just done by bad guys and sleazebags, it's a universal disease."
That's true.
Really?
Everyone, yeah.
How much did you pay him?
Thanks.
Oliver Reed's demise during the filming of Gladiator serves as a reminder of the impact of an actor's personal lifestyle choices on their professional commitments. Actor Oliver Reed was the very epitome of British machoism and was fully deserving of his hell-raising lifestyle. He performed in several critically admired roles, including The Trap, Oliver, Women in Love, The Devils, and even Ridley Scott's Gladiator, which proved to be Reed's final performance. It was during the filming of Gladiator that Reed passed away at the age of 60. True to his lifestyle, Reed died of a heart attack suffering in a bar in Valletta, Malta, after a heavy drinking session. Fellow actor Omid Jalili claimed that Reed was pressured into a drinking competition and hadn't had a drink for several months. Some claimed that Reed went the way he wanted, but Jalili wasn't so sure. Oddly enough, though, Reed appeared to predict his own death in a TV interview in 1994. During his interview, Reed also opened up on the things he would regret after he had passed away. He humorously said, "I regret having not made love to every woman on earth. I regret having not kissed the nose of every dog on earth. I regret having not been into every bar on earth. But that doesn't make me a hellraiser. If somebody punches me on the nose, I'll punch them back. If somebody buys me a drink, I'll buy them one back. Somewhere underneath all the drinking and hell-raising and most likely unwanted press lay a man keen on providing entertainment and a good time for his friends and family." It looks as though Reed always knew the way he would go, which perhaps eases his sad passing just a touch.
I'm just an old male chauvinist, so all my friends are chauvinists, and they've all very happily married. They are very happy being a male chauvinist. I'm very happy that my woman is in the kitchen on her hands and knees, because it saves me a great deal of money on a maid. And a lot of people think that, you know, we actors are very wealthy. But as long as my girl is happy in the kitchen, then that's fine. I'm an old-fashioned fellow, and I like to look after my birds, and I like to make love to them, and I like them to be tender, and if at all possible, I like to earn the money. In that way, I can say, "Listen, sweet, I'm going down to the pub."
John Eric Hexum's accidental death with a prop gun while filming Cover-Up emphasizes the importance of proper handling and safety precautions on set. He was a 26-year-old actor who played an undercover CIA agent posing as a male model BS spy adventure Cover-Up. After a meteoric rise in the world of showbiz, John Eric Hexum's life was cut short on October 18, 1984, when he put a .44 Magnum, which was loaded with blanks, to his head and pulled the trigger. The 26-year-old actor had been filming a scene on his own television show, CBS Spy Adventure Cover-Up, where he played an undercover CIA agent posing as a male model. Hexum grew increasingly frustrated with delays to filming the scene and began playing with the gun, spinning the barrel like a game of Russian roulette. In what has been described as a tragic accident, the actor playfully spun the barrel, which had one bullet inside, and placed the gun to the temple of his head and pulled the trigger. The gun discharged a wad of paper which shattered his skull, forcing a bone fragment the size of a small coin into the center of his brain. After losing several pints of blood on the way to the hospital, the actor underwent 5 hours of surgery and was placed on life support machines. 6 days later, Hexum was declared brain dead and his organs were harvested with permission of his devastated family. Before Cover-Up, Hexum appeared in NBC time travel show Voyagers, which was cancelled in 1983 after just one season, and appeared in TV movie Making of a Male Model alongside British star Joan Collins. Hexum reportedly had a fascination with guns, something which concerned his Cover-Up co-star Jennifer O'Neill, who had also accidentally shot herself 2 years prior at her home in New York. The show's executive producer Glenn Larson claimed that Hexum insisted on using a .44 Magnum for the scene, a weapon which still is one of the most powerful handguns in the world. The producers of Cover-Up decided to continue with the show and cast British-born actor Anthony Hamilton as the new lead character.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Weller.
And I'm Mary Hart. Actor John Eric Hexum, who shot himself in the head last Friday, is dead. Dick Shoemaker has the story in our news studio.
Mary, apparently Hexum had no chance of survival from the very beginning. His doctor said when the co-star of the TV series Cover-Up fired a .44 Magnum loaded with blanks into his right temple, the force of the explosion drove a piece of the skull deep into the brain. The police have listed it an accident. The official announcement of death came this morning.
At 7:31 on October 18th, John Eric Hexum was declared dead. Mr. Hexum was transferred to a Northern California hospital at 1:15 this morning, where at his wish and the wish of his family, his heart, kidneys, and corneas were donated for transplant purposes.
The actor had not been working in Hollywood very long. In fact, he was just beginning to make his mark.
As the curtain falls on our exploration of actors who left us on the stage they loved, we're reminded that the pursuit of cinematic excellence sometimes carries a heavy toll. These stories serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the risks artists take to bring stories to life, and the impact their absence leaves on the world. In celebrating their art, let us also reflect on the need for stringent safety measures, ensuring that the legacy of these fallen stars inspires without repeating the tragedies that befell them. Thank you for joining us on this solemn journey through the shadows of Hollywood's brightest lights. May their memories continue to shine on, even as the final credits roll.